If no one is following, it might be time to ask this question. Here's the question. Am I serving like Christ or expecting others to serve my agenda? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another leadership lesson. I'm Tom Ray, for those who don't know, and thank you for being a part of this. So I had this thought. Are you leading, or are you just taking a walk? Are you leading, or are you just taking a walk? This is a concept basically from John Maxwell. He made a quote several years ago. If you think you're leading and no one is following, you're only taking a walk. So that's the question for today. The idea is, again, from John Maxwell. He who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. So that's what we're going to dive into today. And John Maxwell brings this simple truth home to us that leadership is not a solo adventure. If people aren't following willingly and enthusiastically, you might be moving, but you're not leading. Leadership isn't about titles or corner offices or being the loudest voice. Leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. That's leadership. Typically, a leader will arise in a crisis, and it probably won't be the one that has the name tag leader. Different people rise to different challenges. And so there's those who are in a position of leadership, and then there are those who lead. Warren Bennis says, managers do things right, leaders do the right things. But more importantly, leaders take people with them towards those right things. So that's important. Simon Sinek said this: leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. So, wow, that's a different perspective, isn't it? Who's with you? Who's walking this journey with you? Not because they have to, because of a paycheck or a position, but because of your vision, because of your character, because of your influence that pulls them forward. And if the answer is no one or barely anyone, you might be on a nice solitary stroll, right? Taking a walk by yourself. There's a biblical principle here I want to point out. God's word gives us an ultimate model of leadership here, and it's found in Matthew chapter 20, verses 26 to 28. It says, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. Now, Jesus refines greatness, not power over people, but service to people. Jesus was sitting with the disciples at the Last Supper, and he said, which is better, one who serves or one who is served? Is it not one who is served? He said, but I've come as one who serves. Right? And so that's what he did. He showed us the model of servant leadership. He showed humility and compassion and sacrifice. He washed the dusty feet of the disciples. He fed crowds. He healed the broken people and ultimately laid down his life for us. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
And thankful too. So, there's other biblical leaders I'd like to point out for us today. Moses didn't drag the Israelites into Egypt by force, right? He interceded for them. He prayed for them. And then he listened to their complaints and pointed them to God's promise. And when they strayed, he didn't walk away. And he had to be frustrated several times out there with these people being knuckleheads and him being gone for just a short while and comes back and they've created a golden calf. He's like, what's wrong with you people? God is providing for us, right? He pleaded with them and led them back. right? He had the heart of a shepherd. By the way, as a side note, there's a great comedy series out right now on YouTube. I think it's actually got moved to Netflix, but it's called The Promised Land, and it's a kind of a cross between the TV show The Office and The Chosen.
Uh-huh.
So it's a mixture of both,
That would,
but
that would,
it's fantastic. They use lighthearted
mhm.
thoughts along the way through the television show, but when it's time to be serious, they're very serious, and it's powerful. The last episode of the first season was powerful. I mean, I felt the spirit of God moving through that episode. It was so powerful. But it's funny, where you've got people out in the desert looking into the camera, you know, for what 3,000 3,000 4,000 years ago, looking into the camera and talking to people, but there wouldn't even be cameras back then, right? So
Right.
it was just funny. But anyway, getting back from Moses here, Nehemiah is another one. God used him to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, but not by commanding by afar, but by rolling up his sleeves and inspiring a shared purpose. He said, "Come, let us build." He said that in Nehemiah chapter 2, verses 17 through 18. And the people followed because they saw the heart of a servant. Now, Paul, he's another. Second Timothy tells us that Paul poured into Timothy, and he was multiplying leaders, and the things he said this, and the things you have heard me say, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. So he was all about equipping people. He was always speaking to the church. Oftentimes there's a lot of rebuke there to the church because they've gone astray, gone their own way, and things of that nature. But he pulls them back. He had the heart of a shepherd, maybe more of an evangelist. He cut them and leave them, right? uh, but he had to share the gospel, right, and let them know. So biblical leadership creates followers by serving first. If no one is following, it might be time to ask this question. Here's the question: am I serving like Christ or expecting others to serve my agenda? Wow. I love this other quote that I remember. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? When they know how much you care, they'll be willing to follow you wherever you might go. So here's a self-assessment for us today. Ask yourself this question. So how do you know if you're really leading? And here's a quick checklist for us today. Voluntary leadership. Do people seek your input, go the extra mile, or align with your direction, even when you're not watching? Right? Number two, are there people around you becoming more capable, confident, and independent? Or are they dependent on you? If everyone relies on you, they're dependent on you, and nothing gets done or everything stops when you stop.
Right.
That shouldn't be the case. That would mean you're carrying the load alone. I don't want to carry the load alone.
Mm-mm.
I want to empower people. I want people to do great. I'll tell you a quick story. My brother-in-law now, for the last almost 35 years, back in the day, I taught him how to play the drums, how to keep a beat, how to keep the time. And thankfully, he didn't stop there. In fact, he excelled. He played to a level that I could only dream of playing. And he did it fantastically. And so he excelled in that lane, but I helped equip him in the beginning. right? And
Hmm.
so I was able to do that, but he went to the next level, and I didn't have to continue or to keep motivating him to do so. My son Justin, he we bought him a drum set. We taught I taught him some beats and stuff, but we also had at the time a fantastic drummer as a part of our congregation, and my son just emulated everything that he did, and he's become an excellent drummer, and now he's teaching others how to play drums. So that's awesome. So listen, we want to empower people to do what they've been gifted to do. A leader will see the giftings in that person and begin to develop it, right? And work and nurture it and encourage it to take place and say, hey, you can do this. It's like our children when we're first teaching them to ride the bike. They're on the
Hmm.
training wheels, and then finally we take the training wheels off. I say, okay, it's time to go to the next level. And then we walk with them, run alongside of them as they learn to get their balance. And once they do, they're off to the races, right?
Hmm.
And so here's another thing: is shared momentum. Is there collective energy and progress, or are you the only one excited?
Right.
I know for me, I've been excited about a lot of things that other people aren't excited about.
I have too. I know.
Right. So, wow, and I remember I came back from Africa, uh, man, almost 10 years ago now. My life was changed going to Africa. And I had a different perspective on life and worldview and well, just life in general. And so, but I came back with both a broken heart and with passion. But trying to describe a feeling sometimes that we have is often like trying to explain colors to a blind person.
Right.
you know they're there, but how can you describe it in a way that someone will actually listen to and be inspired by? And some of it is they haven't seen it for themselves, so they can only guess what you're trying to say. They can't hardly envision it because they've not seen it before. And they may humor you and listen to you for a minute, but after a while, they're like, okay, this isn't going anywhere for me. So, but they did see a life that was impacted and a life that was changed, and perhaps that inspired them all the more. But number four is actions over words, right?
Yeah.
Do people stay, advocate for the mission, and recruit others, right? Do they do that? Do they follow through with what you've shared as a leader? Or is there low retention or quiet disengagement? That's certainly a red flag.
Hmm.
We want them to be motivated. And sometimes, especially when a new manager takes over or a new boss, someone new leading a group, or even pastoring for that matter, the previous leader wasn't allowing or nurturing empowerment,
Yeah.
and so everyone relied on that person. I remember when I was leading a youth group, and the youth ministry was exploding. It was fantastic. But the Lord was sending my wife and I to on another mission, and so I spoke with the person that was going to be taking over the youth ministry, and said, "Look, this youth ministry is almost self-sustained. These kids are doing the work. They're doing
Yeah.
the ministry. I mean, I would take them to places to minister. We do dramas, human videos, and things like that. and those are songs acted out with drama.
Mm-hmm.
and and then I'd speak the word, and so I would take them and have one of my leaders in the youth ministry preach the word. I'd have them lay their hands on people to pray for them. I'd have
Yeah.
them share the gospel, and it was fantastic. It's called student-led leadership.
Yeah.
Um, so I empowered them, and so anyway, I left, and that leader removed the leaders that were in there
Oh
because
no.
they had aged out of that youth group, and so he moved them out, and then changed the whole course of direction for the whole thing. I'm like,
Mm.
why would you do that? Why would you do that? There's something already happening here. Just nurture. But that's what it's all about. It's empowering people. It's equipping other people. And oftentimes we tried to hoard a position. I remember this one person I was leading. She didn't have all the tools necessary in this particular department, and so I brought someone else on board to enhance her area of ministry. And, when your ministry looks good, you as a leader looks good, right?
Mhm.
And so I tried to get her to understand that, but she got offended. Even though she would be the leader,
Mm.
she got offended that she wasn't doing the whole thing. And so she left. And I was deeply saddened that she left because I'd lost a great asset to the church and to our ministry, because there's so
Mhm.
many other things that she did well,
Mhm.
that she thrived at,
Yeah.
and that we needed, but she couldn't see the bigger picture. And so but there's people that are territorial leaders. But in all cases, we should always be attempting to work ourselves out of a job. That means
Mhm.
we're training and equipping people to the point where they are passionate about doing the ministry. And guess what? You as a leader end up not being burned out,
Right.
trying to do everything or not doing anything much but the status quo. And we don't
Mm.
want that either. And yes, there's risk in that. There's risk that a leader could go rogue. I mean, just look back through the scriptures and look at Absalom, David's
Look at my ex-husband. No, I'm just kidding, but not really.
son. Exactly. So, we know they can go rogue and say, you know what? It happened with Lucifer. He said, you know what? I will be like, I will ascend to the heavens, and he just had this wild idea that he was going to be God himself. And God said, no, not on my watch. And he kicked him out of heaven. Right.
I
And
think
so,
I think
yeah,
where we fail is we want to do it our way. And I think that's where leaders fail when instead of yielding it to the Lord, and letting God do it. And that's part of Satan. He wanted to do it his way, and it wasn't good enough for him.
that's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great point. And with that, my thought is this: I've served under many, many people. Many times I've thought that I have a better plan, I have a better idea, but this is not my rodeo,
Right.
right? Meaning that I need to submit to the leadership of this house, the shepherd of this house, or the boss, right, of the organization. This is their show. And I can voice my opinion and share what I think. Maybe this would be better, or it makes more sense to just go in a straight line rather than like this. But hey, however you want to do it, I'm here to serve. And so I've done that my whole life. Worked under another man's ministry, and gladly, served with a servant's heart because it's my passion. But I've always thrived in my own life with or loved leadership principles and developing the leader within myself and within others. And so now as a pastor, it's certainly a different paradigm, where now I'm leading and now I'm looking for others to be me in that picture, to share their ideas, their inspiration, and then processing that as a leader and saying, okay, how will that apply to this situation? Is it time to give wings to that person? But I will say this: if you think that you have a better plan, and you're not willing to submit to the plan that you're under, then you need to go and start a new plan someplace else, and or else you're going to be miserable. You got to
Yeah, yeah,
submit to where you're at, or move on.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Right,
absolutely, and move on and not take any people with you.
right, it's true.
From the current organization, whether it be a church
Right.
or be a business. Uh,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we can't ever let ourselves develop the attitude that I've got a better plan because it's you got to get I out of the way and let God move in that spot because God's got to be the one and only person, to make my plans or anybody's. You just you can't help but yield to the Lord's plans because I've messed up my life doing it my way. I can't ever try to say it's going to be me, 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 my plan. No, it's going to be God's plan. I've already learned my lesson. That hurt.
yeah, that's humbling, isn't it?
Yeah.
For sure. So let's dive back in. Number 5 is inspiration versus instruction. Do you ignite the why more than you dictate the how? Do you ignite the why, right? Where people are curious. They want to know more. They want to grow more. And then they're off to the races, not always asking how to do something, but being inventive and being, having a vision to take the ball and run with it. Number 6 is sustainability test. If you stepped away for a week, would things improve or would they stall? True leaders build systems and people that outlast them.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about. And I certainly want a place that can run, a church, an organization that can run, whether I'm there or not, to continue to run. If I'm sick or off on vacation or whatever the case may be, that the church keeps moving, things,
Hmm.
processes keep happening, and people are empowered to take the steps that are needed to take. So if any of these 6 things that I've shared today sting, that's not failure, but it's an invitation to grow,
Yeah.
right? So we got to grow in these areas. So here's a way to move from walking to leading, starting today. Here's the idea, and I've taught this before. Servant leadership. It's serve first. Serve first. Pick one task this week that you will usually delegate. Do it humbly, like Jesus washing feet, right?
Yeah.
I know for me and my wife, we have done, I think, just about everything there is to do in the church.
Hmm.
We've been the janitors, we've been the worship leaders, we've been officiators, we've
Hmm.
scrubbed the floors in the bathrooms. We've wept with people, we've ministered. I mean, I don't know what else there could be
Yeah.
that that we haven't already done. but it's doing it because that's what Jesus would do. Back in the 90s, we wore those bracelets that said WWJD.
Yeah.
What would
Hmm.
Jesus do? Well, the the sentiment is still there. What would Jesus do? And that's what I should be doing. Number two is listen deeply. Listen deeply. Ask your team, your family, your church, your employees, what do you need from me to thrive? What do you need? I want to
Hmm.
empower you. That's why I got into coaching as a leader too. I love coaching people
Hmm.
and being able to ask the powerful questions that cause them to self-reflect
Hmm.
and dive in, because a lot of times we don't spend time thinking. We just go about our day. And I'll share a quick segue on that for a quick second. There was a point in time where people saw that I had ability to troubleshoot things, and so when they would hit a roadblock, their first thought is call Tom,
Yeah.
and not, well, let me sit here and think about this first. Let me think about how this works and see if I can fix this issue first. But no, they called Tom. Now, I would come and help, but oftentimes it'd be something like, yeah, my printer isn't working. I said, okay, here I come. And I come into the office and the printer isn't on or it's not plugged in. It's not connected. Those are the obvious, right? So I came up with an acronym, and I'm going to give this to everybody right now. We call it CTO. CTO, check the obvious.
Yeah.
Check the obvious. Make that your first go-to, and then call Tom.
Yeah.
Do that first, so that you don't interrupt my day for something that you could have taken care of.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so, a lot of times because someone is not technical or they are technically challenged, they automatically go to the person they know that can fix it. But what if you just sat there for a moment? I mean, YouTube is right there available for you.
Oh, I know. I know. That is, I had a problem with one of my door handles, and I tried to get so many people to try to fix my door handle on my car because it was broken to beyond repair. And nobody had time. All my family and friends work. And so eventually I got on YouTube and got an instructional video, got my chair because I can't stay bent over for very long, but I got a chair outside. This was in the summer. And I went and I did what the video on YouTube instructed me to do it. I did it my own self. I changed the door handle on my car my own self. I went to YouTube and they have instructional videos on just about everything, even my make and model of and year of my car, you know.
Absolutely. So now, Vicky, people can say or look at you and go, "Wow, how did you do that?" Right? Because they're not doing it. And so over the weekend, I was helping another pastor. After we got finished, he said, "How did you get so smart?" And I said, "Well, it's just I have a bulldog tenacity about me that when I go after something, I need to figure it out. It's almost to a fault. I'll keep banging my head against the wall until I finally figure out how to do it or how to get that fixed." I ran into a snag last night, even with some technology, and I was tried this and tried that and tried this. I'm going, man, this is taking too much time, and that's often the problem. We don't have the patience
Oh,
for
yeah.
stuff, but I took the time and finally I got it figured out, and so I'm thankful for that. But that's what it is. You see a lot of people who are very talented in certain areas, and most of it is because they took time to practice. They kept working at it. They kept working it until they got it.
Mhm.
There's several videos out online too, someone who's bouncing a ping pong ball and trying to get it to land in a cup after, I don't know, 50 bounces or something crazy like that. But what they don't show you is the uh, 239 times that they tried it before that, before they got.
Right.
And so take the time to do it, and you can do it. So again, serve first, listen deeply, and then next is model and multiply. Share your vision vulnerably, celebrate others and their wins,
Mhm.
invest in one person to develop them as a leader. Find a person that you can invest as a leader. Man, when I leave a thing, I want to raise up people to do the job well. There's a book I read several years ago, and it's titled Finish Strong. How can we finish strong? We may not have started out great, but we can finish strong, right? And so I remember when I was leaving one of the last churches I was serving at, I gave them what was it, a 2 month notice, a 2 month notice, and during those 2 months, I trained and equipped all the people in the various areas that I was overseeing. I was wearing a lot of hats at that ministry, too many actually, and so I was training and equipping people at each of those stages, and and I was just blessed by all the amount of people that rallied around and got involved, and so I taught them hands-on. I did tutorial videos and wrote instruction manuals, probably overkill, and probably much of it that people didn't even pay attention to after I left. But I was able to pour into so many people to so that the church could continue moving at the pace we were moving at, even though I was going to be gone. That's important to model and multiply. Find a person to develop them as a leader. And then lastly, pray for a servant heart.
Yeah.
So many times we can find ourselves shifting to our own way and our own thinking and our own thoughts, and we can get in trouble.
Mhm.
Then to keep following the plan that the Lord has laid out for us. So ask God daily to make you more like Christ, others focused, humble, and sacrificial. Wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful, right?
Yeah.
I love this. I don't know how to pronounce the person's name, but I want to say his quote: "A leader is best when people barely know he exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, 'We did it ourselves.'"
Mhm.
And so I'm not all about the praise and the glory, getting the praise and the glory. I'm about hearing about what God has done in and through us. That's a
Yeah.
big U and a big S,
Mhm.
us,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
so that is important. Uh, I love this. Leadership isn't about arriving first, it's about arriving together. But everything rises and falls on
Mhm.
leadership.
Yeah.
Godly leadership rises when we serve like Jesus. So today, look who's behind you,
Mhm.
who's following. If the view is lonely, that's okay. Jesus can turn around a solitary walk into a multiplied movement. But we want to pray this kind of prayer: Lord, give us a servant's heart. Help us not to be in it to lead ourselves, but for your glory and your honor. Make us true leaders who take people with us. So that is the concept for today. You're either leading or you're taking a walk.